Welcome to the Girl Power Alliance podcast, where you're going to meet and hear from some inspiring women with incredible stories who are leading in business and in faith. We are on a mission to impact the world by empowering women to dream bigger through kingdom-minded mentoring and leadership. This is where women grow. Welcome back to the Girl Power Alliance podcast. I'm so excited to have another absolutely stunning guest. If you're listening, you don't get to see her, but if you're watching on the YouTube channel, you get to see her beautiful face. And matter of fact, if I were to turn my office, our offices look very similar. I'm going to turn it this way.
Yes, this is meant to be.
I know. It's like we're in the same office, but we're not. We're in completely different states. Let me tell you a little bit about this beautiful woman. Whittney Kilgore is a personal growth and mindset coach for teen girls and women. She's the mother of an 11-year-old son. She's been married for 8 years. She studied applied behavioral science, and then decided to use her knowledge to help women shift unwanted mental and emotional behavior through coaching. She has a passion for helping them identify and change unproductive mindsets, habits, and decision-making skills. As an active duty soldier in the U.S. Army, Whittney uses her free time to coach women online and in person. She is determined to help women gain their confidence in their God-given abilities while walking in their purpose.
Yes.
So, by the way, we could just stop right there. That's enough. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. And let me just start off by saying, first of all, thank you so much for your service. We just, as a country, are indebted to everybody that is in our military and, armed forces, and just even now more than ever, because they're just doing things seemingly outside of the scope of the military, but really it's not outside of the scope of the military, right?
Yeah, thank you so much.
I appreciate you. And I'm so excited to have you on here. Since we kind of chatted the first time, it does feel like the world is a little different.
Yeah, a lot different, girl. On house arrest, kind of.
I know, right? Kind of. Well, I'm very excited to introduce you to our audience here. I think you have a really phenomenal story. I think what you're doing is so needed. It's so needed. So share a little bit. I know I gave a bio, but why don't you just tell everybody a little bit more about you?
So I've been in the Army for almost 13 years, and it has just been a real journey coming straight out of high school, right into the military, not knowing who I was, my identity, anything like that, and just being expected to perform as a woman in an entire army, literally. So in doing that, I always had my faith because I kind of grew up in church or whatever. But, when you are not forced to do something, it kind of becomes a decision that you make on your own. And I was not making those decisions, right? So kind of led me down a lot of bad decisions and struggles throughout life. And I learned a lot and was able to kind of hold on to my faith in that sense of overcoming. And eventually I just realized kind of like, look, I need to start putting this stuff to work that I'm going in here every Sunday and see what it can actually do. And when I did that, my life just kind of started to change. And I mean, it just brought me to this place where I am now. I'm still serving. And then I decided, you know what, I want to share this with other women, not only in the Army, but in the civilian world too. People need to hear more about Jesus, and people need to know about, loving themselves and how to change their mindsets when they're in a place where they're not sure of how to get out of it.
Oh my gosh, how many people, and especially right now, I feel like more than ever, because people have been put into like a lot of different positions. Some of them, they've lost work. Some of them, they may not have work to go back to. So they don't know what to do or where to go. So are you noticing that your business is getting busy right now, busier than normal?
So I'm feeling like, I feel like it has been picking up more people because I'm seeing so much stuff on social media. I see kind of how to target more people and what people need about anxiety and how to overcome stress and how to deal with the now and not so much focusing on the later. I do feel like more people are willing to kind of open up and say, I need help. And so when I see that, I'm there and I'm like, look, we got this. And if we can kind of get that foundation laid where you know where everything comes from, your help, then I think that it has kind of really been opening up more doors for me to reach out to women and get them interested in coaching. Because one thing I feel like a lot of women don't realize that they need it. I didn't know I needed coaching when life was rough. Like, what is a life coach or mindset coach? I was just trying to figure it out. So it's been a challenge to get people to understand that they need it, but that is the goal. And it has been getting a little bit, business has been picking up since this has been taking place.
Well, it's so needed. And it's funny that you say that we don't realize we need coaching, because I just feel like maybe culturally here in the United States, we're kind of, there's this whole mentality of like, take care of me and not reaching out. I mean, in other societies, literally people live much more in community, and that includes reaching out for help. But for whatever reason here, it's not as common.
I think a lot of people don't want to have like get their business exposed. They feel like they're going to be. I think a lot of people feel as though they're going to be exposing themselves, and social media has did such a good job at making us look like we have it all together, and we have this image of I got it and I don't need any help and I can do everything on my own. But you are so right. That community is really needed, and I just feel like if we could get more women to understand that community and coaching and doing things like this, listening to podcasts to inspire them, then I just feel like it would take a total shift in not only the culture of womanhood, but in the nation, just, being better mothers and better wives and things like that.
I got chills when you said that, because that's such a big part of what I want to do here with the Girl Power Alliance, and what I'm trying to do even in my church and just with my own circle is, really opening up, kind of rather than saying opening up, I'm going to say tearing down the walls, because
Yeah.
you're right. We've built up this kind of, I don't know, facade that we want everyone to think, we got everything together, or we don't need help or whatever, because it's deemed as weakness, which is the complete opposite. I feel it takes so much strength to reach out and be honest and open with somebody and say, listen, I'm in need. I need help in this area or that area. And what you're doing is so important, because as a believer, if I were looking for a coach, let's just say I don't know, I wanted to make a shift in my career and I was looking for a coach, it would be of the utmost importance to me to find a coach that shared my faith, because
Right.
as a believer, we make decisions through that lens.
Yes, everything is filtered through that. And I think some people don't even realize that. And the people who don't really have that filter, they don't realize that they need it. And so you end up making decisions that
Yes.
you don't have that foundation, or like, what do I filter this through? So it's just like you do whatever you feel. I feel like I'm upset. I feel like I'm angry. So I'm going to lash out instead of, well, I need to think about this, because this is really not going to reflect what I'm representing in Christ the right way. So we need that filter, man. And it's so important that we are more open. Like you said, that's one thing I'm so inspired by the Girl Power Lines, is that you are like putting faith out there. This is what we're putting it out there. There's no, you got to read the fine print to find out that we love Jesus. It's like, this is what we are about. And I'm so just grateful to see that and see other women being successful in doing that, because I feel like people want us to be quiet about what it is that we believe. And we're out here living good lives, living for Jesus. So it's kind of like more people need to know that it exists.
Oh, you're thank you so much for that. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. And matter of fact, when God was birthing this idea in me, I was right exactly where you said. It was like going to be like fine print, little tiny little verses, like at the bottom of the page, if you got your microscope out and looking at it, and because that's what we're taught, right? What are we taught as entrepreneurs? You never talk about politics or religion. And
Right.
so, I was just following suit, but I will tell you that God, it wasn't all the way clicked in. I didn't have peace about it. I didn't have full clarity. And when I kind of asked God, like, God, are you asking me to like go put it out there that bold? And the first time I said it out loud, I knew immediately that that's exactly what it was. I still get chills when I say it.
I got chills too.
Right? It's like the Holy Spirit was like, yes, that's what you're supposed to do. And I have to tell you, that is really what I want to empower more women, that they don't have to hide behind it. That actually it is our biggest strategy. It is our biggest It's the biggest positive about what we do. It will attract the right people, and it's going to open the door for more people that maybe, I don't know, maybe they didn't totally have a relationship with Christ, or maybe they heard about it, or maybe they've been hurt because of the church or something, to come back in and see the power of connecting with other strong, faith-filled women that are leading in their faith and leading in business.
We can just end the podcast right now because that was it.
I love it. Well,
Yeah.
it's been encouraging to me to talk to so many women who are like you. You're like, listen, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. But we think we're in a minority.
Yeah.
And maybe we have been, but it's time for that not to be the case anymore.
Right. Do you know how excited I was when I saw the post that you made in the group? Just, I'm looking for other faith-filled women who are entrepreneurs. I was so excited. I'm like, yes. So by you acting on what God was telling you, what the Holy Spirit was downloading, you walked in obedience, and it blessed so many people. It inspired. It automatically I feel like kind of made you I feel like it kind of made you this leader for us to like, yeah, let's get with her and let's just do it.
Well, I will tell you that. So what Whitney's talking about is, it was my first step out in the public. So I went on this podcast because I have my own, another podcast that I've been doing for 3 years. And so I was on this podcast collaboration page on Facebook, and the page just is like, if you want to be a guest or if you're looking for a guest. So I was like, okay, let's see how people respond. I didn't know it was going to be crickets or if I was going to get hecklers. I didn't have a clue. So and it's still in the beginning stages of the foundation of Girl Power Alliance being put together. So I was like, let's just see, is this even attractive to somebody? And the response was I've been so incredibly encouraged. The response has been so great. Every conversation I've had has just been another confirmation that, yes, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is the direction that you're going. And so, connecting with women like you, I believe, here's what I believe will happen. That standing out in the front as a leader, as a coach, as somebody that this is what you're doing. First of all, you're going to inspire more women that they can do that, whatever their profession is. Maybe they work for corporate America, maybe they're the PTA mom, and but they love Jesus, they walk that way, but they kind of keep it quiet because we feel like that's what we're supposed to do to, I don't know, whatever, if that's political correctness or if that's just the enemy trying to quiet us.
Right.
Maybe a little of both. Yeah. But to give them the courage that there is a whole community of us.
Yes.
And we're going to stand up. We're unashamed of the fact that we are entrepreneurs and we have, this purpose, we have this mission, but we are unashamed of our faith. So I'm hoping that it encourages women, number one. Number two, I hope that we bring a whole new flock of women into the fold.
I agree. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Well, I would love to hear. So one of the things in your bio, you talk about, you don't just coach women, you coach teens. Yeah, I'd love to hear a little about that.
So I was a drill sergeant before getting stationed in Virginia. And when I was a drill sergeant, a lot of girls came right out of high school into the Army because they had no other plans. They're like, okay, I'm 12th grade. What do I do now? I didn't really take school seriously. What am I going to do with my life? I'll join the Army. And I know that because I was one of them, right? So got there, and that's kind of how my life started. But a lot of girls were doing that, and I found myself bringing them in and having just talks with them every few weeks, just, girls, what questions do you have about life? Because we go through so many things as females in the military, so much. And I just wanted to kind of prepare them for the things that I was not prepared for. And in doing that, it's like, it felt so right. And I'm like, man, I want to do this before girls get to 12th grade and realize that they don't know what they want to do with their lives. I'm not expecting them to have it all figured out. So I said, at my next duty station, I'm going to the schools. So I went to a school board meeting and started letting them know what I could do. Hey, I'm willing to be a mentor. My services are free. Created an entire 9-week mentorship program based on biblical principles. And I offered it to the school. I'm like, hey, I'm doing it for free. I just want you guys to know that this works. Well, it's talking about Jesus, so we'll have to get consent forms. I had 40 girls signed up, 42 girls in high school. And I started working with these girls. Each week we talked about something else: abstinence, drugs, sex. We talked just so many things that girls face today: peer pressure, all of those things, mental stability. And in doing this, a lot of girls, I found out they weren't getting the basic foundations of their identities, right? Well, Miss Whitney, you tell me not to have sex with my boyfriend, but when I go home, my mom is having sex with her boyfriend and he lives with us and she's not married. So I was like, oh my goodness, it's so much deeper than this. The moms need this too. They need to get this too. So just working with the girls, and it is so rewarding to just talk with them and let them ask questions. They want to know, how do I say no if I'm not ready to have sex? Things like that. And I have an opportunity to speak Christ to them. So, and not forcefully, but just kind of like, hey, God is not hating on you. He is telling you this for a reason, right? So kind of getting to bring that out there. Well, what do you believe, Miss Whitney? And then it just goes from there. And it's been a really good and humbling experience to just work with them and give them something that I don't feel like I had when I grew up.
Wow, I have so many things. I have so many things I want to talk to you about. I'll probably talk to you about some of them after we're done recording the podcast. But have you taken this program into actual Christian schools?
I have, and you know what? And I tried so hard. It's a Christian school, literally 2 miles down the road from me. I've been there and dropped off so many flyers, information, so much information. Parents have reached out to me. Can you do this at our school? And I've got no responses. They have not reached back out. And my presentation is pretty legit. My website is good. I come with an outline.
Yeah.
All stuff that the Army has kind of taught us when we're going to present, and I haven't gotten a response. So I'm still working on that. I'm not giving up. Every now and then I'll go drop off more information, just like, hey, I'm here and I'm willing to provide this for free. And so I haven't gotten in there yet, but I'm willing.
Well, I think just that part of what you're doing alone is so important.
Yeah.
It's so important. I have 3 kids, 2 daughters, and they don't always want to come to me. You know what I mean? They sometimes need an outside person, somebody that is outside of the situation, whether it's giving them advice that they are not getting at home or whether it's enforcing the stuff that they're hearing from home. It's so, wow, that's exciting. So is that like is that a separate thing? If people go to your website, which I'll have you tell everybody what your website, if people go there, can they access that part of what you do too?
So I have pictures and things on there and opportunities for them to invite me to come and speak. But as far as the program, I have a limited amount of time because I use my lunch break during the week, or I'll take a day of leave to get off from work because I still have to go to work from 9 to 5 with the Army. But I just go around to my local schools. I pick out like 3 schools. I pick out about 3 schools. And once they accept the program, then I just hit them all at least once a month. And I have group meetings with the girls. So that's kind of how it's been going so far because I don't want to take on too much. But I'm actually thinking about doing like an online group coaching program for teen girls. Something like, a Zoom where everybody comes in and we discuss certain things. So a lot of things God has given me. I have 1,000 notebooks that I'm just writing stuff down in, trying to get to it.
Well, that's exciting. And, during this time when people are kind of on lockdown at home, what a great opportunity for you to utilize technology to kickstart something because I think more than ever, people are really, really almost desperate for connection and they're feeling afraid and scared and lost and don't know what to do. So I just want to encourage you, do it.
Yeah, I'm working on it, girl.
You're amazing. So if you had to say, obviously your faith has been a huge part of who you are, what you do, and how you do it. Are you coaching only people that are believers, or are you finding people are coming to you that are outside of that belief system?
So I'm trying to my objective is to attract everyone, right?
Yes.
And get them in because I try not to, how to say this.
I get it. I know what you're saying before you say it.
Okay. So yes, I want to attract everyone. And my goal is not to single anyone out because I'm so confident in Jesus and how he does things that if I can just get them in, even the people who are a little shaky, if I can just get them in, because it's nothing that I'm doing. You take him away and your girl is just absolutely nothing, right? Everything is apart. So if I get them in, the goal is to just kind of ease that into there. Like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what's been helping me. And it always just comes out, just naturally. So anybody is welcome. And I've been coaching people from all different religions and it's been going pretty good.
That's awesome. That's really an exciting thing. I think that what sometimes I think, so we feel this call, right? So here you were in the Army and you kind of felt this call to mentor and talk with these other girls. Would you speak to somebody listening right now about, they have something? I believe everybody's born with a purpose and multiple purposes even, but we can't get to the next purpose until we walk into the first purpose, right? I just believe that. And so you have people that are listening right now, maybe they have this thing, it's this nagging thought or this thing in their gut that they think they're supposed to do. They're supposed to take these steps. How would you speak to them on, taking those, stepping out in faith?
I would say step out and do it. One of the main things that I did was try to work on myself first. I felt like I had a lot of stuff that I had to get together, and I knew that I didn't want to be fake. I didn't want to go out and do something that was going to represent him wrong. And a lot of stuff I was just trying to get right and get a full understanding of, but I got busy. So I didn't allow that to keep me from stepping out. I took little steps. Okay, now I'm going to start out coaching one girl. I'll go and mentor one girl at the school. It went so well. I learned so much. Now give me 15 of them. Next thing you know, a group of 40. Now I want to speak to the whole school. Everybody needs it. So I would say start small. And while you're starting small, continue to work on yourself. A lot of times we don't want to step out because maybe we feel unworthy, or we don't feel like we're good enough, or how could little old me from Helena, Arkansas, where my graduating class was 120, how could I do something so great? Well, it's in you, right? We're born with it, and now we just have to cultivate it. So listening to the Girl Power Alliance podcast, listening to sermons, getting yourself together and using that and sowing it. And as you do that, well, at least for me, the more I kept doing that, it's like, the revelations just continue to come. He just downloads, and you find yourself with a pen somewhere just writing and writing. Okay, Lord, I got it. And I just started putting stuff together. So those thoughts that you're having, write them down and then start making plans. Okay, well, I'm just going to start with one person. I'm going to start a small group in my community. And then I think as you do that and you manage it well, God will bless it and continue to grow it. My business is small now, but I'm taking it as though it's already large. And I'm so serious about representing him well that I know he's going to grow it, right? And so anybody out there that's thinking about doing something, God is giving it to you, get yourself together and keep working on it, girl, and keep putting it out and start putting it out there.
Oh, yeah. Start putting it out there. If I could give you an encouraging word, if you're listening and you think, is this you, God? The only way you know is by taking the step. That's the only way you know. And I've taken many steps that were wrong. And then I knew it wasn't God because the door closed or it didn't feel right in my spirit or something. But when it is right, he will open doors. He will give you that excitement, that passion, that peace, and that feeling of like, this is what, like the chills that come over your whole body.
This podcast is full of chills, girl. I'm over here just chilling out. It is so true. You hit the nail on the head, that peace. When you get that peace because you've put in the work and he's giving you something, you've put in the work to bring it to fruition, I think that peace, it makes you feel so good that, Lord, thank you for trusting me with something so precious,
Yes.
It just inspires you to just want to, you can trust me, Lord. I'm the one. I am the one.
And I think this is another thing in our culture right now because we're in this Instagram kind of society where people are looking at the number of followers, the number of likes, and all these things that we're trying to quantify how valuable we are based on this whole social media world. But I just want to encourage you, if you're listening to this, that maybe the purpose that God put on your life is to impact only one. And that is not little. It's worth it. It's enough. That one life, you have no idea the ripple effect. And so I just want to encourage each of you that are listening to think, well, I'm, from a small town, or I want to step out into a profession that there's already a ton of people doing it, but you're not doing it.
Yes.
And your voice is needed.
Yeah, I agree. And one more thing, girl, with purpose and just kind of stepping out there. I agree. Even if it's just being the best mom that you can be, the best wife that you can be, because what are your kids seeing? They're going to grow up and they're going to be inspired because they're going to know what to look for in a wife, or in your daughters will know what to look for in their husbands because of the way you carry yourself. So even if it's just living a good life for them to say, man, that is my mom, you are walking in your purpose. Because before God gave us jobs and all this stuff, he gave us those roles, right? Adam and Eve, he gave us those roles. And I think that's a good foundation to start. If you don't know what your purpose is, how can I be the best version of myself? How can I be a better woman, a better me? And once you start getting that thing together, God will just continue to give you more insight on what he has for you, I believe.
I'm so glad you said that, because I think that there's also this other kind of subculture with women of, what if you don't feel like starting a business? What if your mission is not to go out and change the world by, creating some online, what if it really is to have a really organized and neat home, to create peace in your home, to be a good cook, and that is profound. That is
Yes.
profound, and we have made it so small and unimportant. It makes me really sad. So it's one of the things, even though I talk a lot about entrepreneurs and stuff with the Girl Power Alliance, I want women, no matter where they're at, no matter what their job is, I want women to come together and realize they have so much to offer, and what they do is valuable, and they can do it to, a almost like at a supernatural level. And it really is by
Yeah.
plugging into the fact that you're listening to God's call, you're being obedient, you're taking the steps of faith. So I feel bad for this movement for women, that they feel like they have to be pursuing this big career. That may not be your call, and it's totally okay.
Yes. Yes. If
Oh,
it's, yeah. So
okay. So people that are listening, how can they find you?
So you can find me at www.coachwk.com. You can also find me on Facebook at Coach Whittney K, and that's Whitney with 2 T's. You can also find me on Instagram at Coach Whitney K. Everything is Coach Whitney K or Coach WK. So I have tons of free videos on YouTube that I do weekly, just encouraging women, little snippets of how you can improve your mindset, grow, and kind of just become the best version of yourself on this journey that we're all on. And I have a podcast called the Woman Intentionally Podcast, and it's on Anchor, Spotify, and it's also just things that you can listen to while you're riding to work after you finish this podcast. Head on over to the Woman
That's right.
Intentionally
Subscribe.
Podcast.
Go subscribe right now.
Yes.
That is amazing. I'm so happy to have you part of this community. And I know I have a feeling when we're done recording, I want to chat with you. I have a feeling that very, very big things are coming for you. And I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, I receive it, girl. And I think the same thing for you with what you have already, just by being obedient that one time and all of this coming about, and you just running with it. And you were so confident, you would not think it was the first time. Like, this is something that's been going on forever. Like, I want to be a part of it. So I just admire your intent, I admire your obedience. And I think I know the same thing for what it is that you're doing for God's women out here today. So
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing just who you are and being a light in the world. We need it more than ever. And we'll be chatting soon.
Bye, ladies.
I hope you enjoyed that podcast as much as I enjoyed recording it. And what an absolute amazing woman Whittney is. She is having such a big impact in the world. I want to thank you so much for listening, and make sure that if you have not already done so, make sure that you go over to our website, girlpoweralliance.com, and make sure that you get on our wait list. You're going to be the first to hear about anything new that's coming as we move closer and closer to our official launch. And if you are on Instagram, go over to Instagram and enter our giveaway. We're giving away one of those really beautiful journaling Bibles and some custom Bible tabs. And you can enter by following our page on Instagram and then tagging 5 of your friends in the post about the giveaway. And we just can't wait to meet you. We cannot wait to connect with you. We can't wait for the launch when we open up our private community. So grateful to people like Whittney who are out there making an impact and making a big impact. We're grateful for you. Girl Power Alliance. This is where women grow. We'll see you soon.